The first mistake the Varkan Dominion made was believing Earth was afraid. For 300 years, the galaxy had watched humanity from a distance. A young species. A reckless species. A species that had barely stepped beyond its own solar system before the great powers of the universe had already written them off. The Varkan called humans children playing with stars. They studied Earth's primitive wars, its divided nations, its emotional decisions, and its obsession with survival. They saw weakness. They saw a planet that had no chance. And when the Varkan battle fleet emerged from hyperspace above Earth, they expected the entire human civilization to collapse within hours. The sky above Earth changed forever. Millions of alien warships appeared beyond the moon, blocking the stars themselves. From the surface, humanity looked upward and saw an impossible sight. A second night had arrived. A night made of metal. A night filled with weapons. The Varkan flagship, the Eternal Judgment, hovered above Earth like a god descending upon ants. Inside the command chamber, Supreme Commander Kale Varys watched the blue planet rotating beneath him. "Begin atmospheric suppression," he ordered. His officers obeyed instantly. Across Earth, every screen, every satellite, every communication device received the same message. A voice from the alien fleet. Human civilization. Your military strength has been measured. Your defenses have been evaluated. Resistance is meaningless. The message continued. Your species has 2 hours to surrender. The galaxy watched. Alien civilizations tuned into the transmission. They expected panic. They expected humanity to beg. They expected leaders to fight among themselves. But something strange happened. Nothing. No response. No surrender. No negotiation. Earth went completely silent. The Varkan commanders laughed. "They are broken," one officer said. But Kale Varys frowned. Something felt wrong. A species facing extinction should make noise. They should scream. They should plead. Humans did neither. Then, exactly 1 hour after the invasion began, the first Varkan attack fleet entered Earth's atmosphere. And that was when everything changed. The cities below were dark. Too dark. The Varkan expected millions of targets. Instead, they found empty skies. No aircraft. No missiles. No resistance. Their sensors searched through the planet. Nothing. "Where are their weapons?" the commander demanded. The answer came moments later. "They don't have any active defenses, sir." A confused silence filled the bridge. Then a human signal appeared. A single transmission. Not from a government. Not from a military base. From everywhere. Every satellite. Every hidden station. Every abandoned colony. All of them activated at the same time. The Varkan fleet froze. Because the signal was not a distress call. It was a countdown. A human voice spoke calmly across the stars. "If you are receiving this message, then you have already made your first mistake." The alien commanders stared at their screens. The voice continued. "You attacked our planet before understanding it." Outside the ships, Earth's moon suddenly changed. Hidden structures activated across its surface. Thousands of ancient-looking human machines awakened from centuries of silence. The Varkan watched in horror as the machines pointed toward them. One of the alien officers whispered. "Those weapons, when did humans build those?" No one answered. Because the truth was worse. Humanity did not build them after the invasion began. They built them long before. They had always known someone would eventually come. The transmission continued. "You came here expecting a weak civilization." A pause. Then the human voice delivered the words that would echo throughout the galaxy for generations. "You forgot one thing. We are the species that survived everything before you." And for the first time in Varkan history, the invaders felt fear. For the first time in 1,000 years, the Varkan Dominion hesitated. Their ships had conquered worlds larger than Earth. They had crushed civilizations older than humanity. They had faced armies with technology millions of years ahead of humans. But never before had they encountered a species that looked defeated. While secretly waiting. Inside the command chamber of the Eternal Judgment, Supreme Commander Kael'vari stared at the impossible readings flooding his screens. Thousands of hidden structures had awakened around Earth. Weapons. Stations. Ships. But not ordinary ships. They were ancient. Some of them had designs that predated humanity's first interstellar journey. Impossible, one Varkan officer whispered. Kael turned slowly. Explain. The officer swallowed. The energy signatures of these platforms, they have been inactive for centuries. Silence filled the bridge. Then Kael understood. Humanity had not built a defense system overnight. They had been preparing for this moment long before the Varkun even knew Earth existed. A message appeared across every Varkan screen. The same human voice returned. Your mistake was believing we measure strength by what we show. The voice belonged to Admiral Elias Voss, the commander of Earth's hidden defense network. Every civilization in the galaxy builds weapons to win wars. A pause. Humanity built weapons so there would never be another extinction. Outside the flagship, the darkness of space suddenly came alive. The moon's surface split open. Massive underground hangars revealed themselves. Thousands of human vessels launched into orbit. The galaxy watched in disbelief. Because these were not beautiful ships. They were not elegant. They were not designed to impress. They looked like they had been forged by a species that expected the universe itself to become an enemy. Heavy armor. Multiple engines. Redundant systems. Weapons built around one simple idea. Survive. The Varkun laughed nervously. Primitive designs, an officer said. They look like ancient machines. Kael stared at the approaching fleet. No. The commander's voice became quieter. They look like something that refuses to die. Then the first battle began. The Varkun fired. Thousands of plasma weapons crossed the void, creating a storm of artificial fire around Earth. The galaxy expected humanity's ships to disappear instantly. Instead, they kept moving. A human vessel lost half its structure and continued forward. Another lost engines but redirected power to weapons. A third ship sacrificed its own armor to protect a damaged colony transport behind it. The aliens did not understand. Their technology was designed for perfection. Human technology was designed for survival. Every damaged ship became a new strategy. Every failure became a lesson. Every loss created adaptation. The Varkun had spent centuries mastering war. Humans had spent their entire existence mastering survival. Then something happened that terrified the alien fleet. The human ships stopped retreating. They began advancing. Admiral Voss appeared on every communication channel. Varkun Dominion. His voice was calm. You came here expecting humanity to surrender because you saw our history. The human fleet moved closer. You saw our conflicts. Another wave of human ships emerged from behind Earth. You saw our mistakes. The Varkun watched as the hidden fleet grew larger. But you failed to see what those things created. The Admiral looked directly into the camera. You attacked the only species in the galaxy that turns disasters into lessons. The transmission ended. And across thousands of alien worlds, a terrifying realization spread. The Varkun did not invade a weak planet. They had awakened something that had been sleeping. Something that had been waiting. Something that had survived every nightmare Earth had ever faced. Humanity was not fighting for conquest. Humanity was fighting because someone had finally crossed the line. And the galaxy was about to discover. The most dangerous thing about humans was not their weapons. It was their refusal to lose. The Varkun Dominion had conquered civilizations by understanding one simple rule. Fear wins wars before weapons are ever fired. They had destroyed planets by breaking their enemies' spirits first. They would arrive in orbit. They would display overwhelming power. They would make entire worlds watch their own destruction. Then those civilizations would surrender before the first shot even landed. But Earth was different. The humans were not watching the sky with fear. They were watching it with preparation. Inside the underground command center beneath Earth's surface, Admiral Elias Voss looked at the holographic battlefield floating above the table. Thousands of enemy ships surrounded the planet. Millions of alien soldiers waited for humanity to collapse. But the Admiral noticed something the Varkun did not. They were already losing. Not because they had lost ships. Not because their weapons failed. Because they had no idea what kind of enemy they were facing. "Launch Phase 2, Elias ordered. A young officer hesitated. "Admiral, if we activate those systems, the Varkun will know everything." Elias stared at the alien fleet above them. "They already know we exist." A pause. "Now they learn why." Across Earth's oceans, mountains, and abandoned regions, hidden structures awakened. Beneath the frozen deserts. Inside the deepest oceans. Buried under ancient cities. Humanity's forgotten creations rose. The galaxy watched in confusion. Because Earth was not revealing a single superweapon. It was revealing thousands. Small. Independent. Adaptable. The Varkun scanned the planet and found something impossible. There was no central command. No single target. No weakness. Humanity had built a defense system that worked exactly like humanity itself. Millions of different parts. All capable of acting alone. All capable of surviving. "Destroy their command network," Kael'Varis ordered. The Varkun attacked. They fired directly at Earth's communication satellites. They destroyed human relays. They cut connections between human fleets. The Varkun celebrated. They believed they had crippled Earth. Then the human ships kept fighting. Kael stared at the battlefield. How are they coordinating? His officers looked terrified. They aren't. The commander turned. What? The officer's voice dropped. Every human unit is making its own decisions. A cold silence filled the bridge. The Varkun had always fought as one perfect machine. Every soldier followed orders. Every ship followed calculations. Every battle was predicted. Humans were different. They were chaos. But somehow, their chaos worked. A damaged human fighter moved toward a larger enemy ship. The Varkun pilot laughed. The human vessel was too small. Too damaged. Too slow. Then the fighter disappeared. For a moment, the alien thought the human had retreated. Until his sensors screamed. The human ship had flown directly into the enemy's blind spot. It had no chance of winning a direct fight. So it found another way. The Varkun pilot watched his ship lose power. Before his systems shut down, he whispered. Why would they do that? The answer came through the human transmission. Because humans were never taught that impossible means impossible. Across the galaxy, alien observers watched silently. They had studied humanity's wars. They had studied humanity's history. But they never understood the pattern. Humans always survived the things designed to destroy them. A meteor. A disease. A war. A disaster. Every time the universe pushed humanity toward extinction. Humanity pushed back harder. Then the Varkun detected something new. A massive energy signature forming behind Earth. Something even their advanced technology could barely analyze. Something that made every alien scientist panic. Because it was not a weapon. It was a message. Humanity was preparing to speak directly to the galaxy. And whatever they were about to reveal would change the balance of power forever. For the first time in Varkun history, the invaders stopped advancing. Not because they were ordered to. Because they were afraid. Across thousands of worlds, alien civilizations watched the battle above Earth unfold through emergency broadcasts. They saw the unstoppable Varkun dominion struggling against a species they had called primitive. They saw human ships moving through impossible situations. They saw damaged vessels refusing to retreat. But then something happened that changed the entire war. Earth stopped fighting. The human fleet froze. The hidden weapons surrounding the planet powered down. The Varkun commanders looked at their screens in confusion. What are they doing? One officer asked. Kael'Varis narrowed his eyes. Preparing something. And he was right. Because humanity was not done. They had not revealed their greatest weapon. They had revealed their greatest truth. Deep beneath Earth's surface, inside a facility that had existed since before humanity entered the stars, Admiral Elias Voss stood before a massive communication system. It was not a weapon. It was not a defense platform. It was a voice. A voice designed to reach every corner of the galaxy. A voice that could not be silenced. The system activated. And every alien civilization received the same transmission. The stars went quiet. Then humanity spoke. For those watching Earth today, the voice was calm. Almost peaceful. This message is not a declaration of war. The galaxy listened. Because that was the last thing they expected. The humans had every reason to demand revenge. They had been attacked. Their planet had been invaded. Their people had been threatened. But instead of hatred, they offered a warning. We know what the galaxy thinks of us. Images appeared across alien screens. Human history. Human discoveries. Human disasters. Wars. Recoveries. Failures. Progress. You have seen our conflicts and called us divided. A pause. You have seen our mistakes and called us weak. The images changed. Humans rebuilding cities after destruction. Scientists solving impossible problems. Explorers reaching beyond their limits. Families surviving after disasters. You saw our scars. The voice became stronger. But you never understood what created them. The Varkan officers watched silently. Even their emotionless machines detected something unusual. The humans were not broadcasting anger. They were broadcasting identity. We are not powerful because we have never fallen. The message continued. We are powerful because every time we fall. A moment of silence. We stand again. Across the galaxy, alien leaders watched without speaking. Then Admiral Voss revealed the truth behind Earth's preparations. Humanity had discovered evidence of countless civilizations destroyed by the same pattern. Powerful empires attacking younger species. Taking their resources. Erasing their history. The Varkan were not the first. They were simply the latest. We waited because we hoped the galaxy had changed. The Admiral's voice lowered. We hoped intelligence had replaced arrogance. The human fleet moved behind Earth. Thousands of ships. Millions of lives. Ready. But you came here. The transmission ended with one final sentence. You attacked Earth first. A pause. Now the galaxy gets to see what happens next. The signal disappeared. For several seconds. Nothing moved. Then the galaxy realized something terrifying. Humanity was not asking for help. Humanity was not threatening anyone. Humanity was simply showing the universe what it had awakened. And every civilization understood the same thing. The Varkan Dominion had not started a war against a planet. They had started a war against a species that had spent its entire existence learning how to survive. And now, the galaxy was waiting to see what humanity would do next. The galaxy had seen wars before. It had seen planets burn. It had seen empires rise and disappear. But it had never seen an invasion where the attackers were the ones starting to panic. The Varkan Dominion had entered the solar system expecting a quick victory. Now their fleet was surrounded. Not destroyed. Not defeated. Surrounded. Because humanity was doing something the Varkan could not understand. They were not trying to wipe them out. They were studying them. Every attack. Every weapon. Every movement. Humanity was learning. And that frightened the Varkan more than any weapon. Inside the Eternal Judgment, Supreme Commander Kale Varis watched the battlefield in silence. The humans had stopped firing. Their ship simply waited. Like predators watching wounded prey. Why aren't they finishing us? An officer asked. No one answered. Because the truth was becoming impossible to ignore. Humanity was holding back. Then a new transmission arrived. Not from Earth. From deep space. A signal older than the Varkan Dominion itself. The entire bridge went silent. The source was unknown. The message contained only one sentence. They have awakened. Kale stared at the words. Who sent this? The communication officer looked terrified. We don't know. Find out. We tried. The officer turned toward him. The signal vanished before we could trace it. For the first time, Kale felt something worse than fear. Confusion. Because the Varkun had studied every major civilization in the galaxy. They knew every empire. Every alliance. Every military power. But they knew nothing about this. Nothing about humanity. Meanwhile, beneath Earth, Admiral Elias Voss entered a chamber that no human had seen for generations. A place hidden below the planet's surface. A place known only as the Archive. Inside were records. Not of humanity. Of everyone else. Thousands of alien civilizations. Thousands of wars. Thousands of worlds that had disappeared. A young officer followed him inside. Admiral, what is this place? Elias looked at the endless walls of information. This is why we were ready. The officer looked confused. We built all of this because we expected the Varkun. The admiral shook his head. No. He touched an ancient recording. We built this because they were not the first. The recording activated. An alien civilization appeared. A peaceful species. Advanced. Intelligent. A civilization that had been erased thousands of years ago. Then another. And another. All destroyed by the same pattern. A powerful empire arrives. Calls them weak. Takes their resources. Erases their history. The officer stared in horror. The galaxy allowed this? Elias nodded. For a long time. The admiral looked toward Earth's surface. Until humanity found the records. The humans had discovered the truth. The galaxy was not peaceful. It was simply quiet. Because everyone was afraid. And humanity had made a choice. Never again. Back in orbit, the Varkun prepared their final assault. Kale Varis ordered every remaining ship forward. If Earth believes we are afraid, prove them wrong. The Varkun fleet moved. Millions of weapons charged. The galaxy watched. Then humanity responded. But not with weapons. With the final part of the transmission. A message that reached every civilization. A message revealing the one thing the Varkun feared most. Humanity was not fighting to become the strongest power in the galaxy. Humanity was fighting to make sure nobody else had to face what they faced. And the final words echoed across the stars. We do not seek your worlds. We do not seek your empire. We seek the end of the cycle. The galaxy went silent. Because for the first time, an invading force realized they were not fighting humans for survival. They were fighting humans for the future of everyone. The Varkun Dominion had one final advantage. They still believed they understood war. Their fleet was damaged. Their confidence was shattered. Their enemies were unlike anything they had faced. But they still believed numbers would decide the outcome. Because every war the Varkun had ever fought ended the same way. More ships. More weapons. More destruction. Victory. That was why they sent everything. Every remaining battleship. Every weapon platform. Every soldier. The entire might of the Varkun Dominion moved toward Earth. The galaxy watched as millions of alien ships surrounded the human planet. It looked like the end. A final attack. A final chance. Inside Earth's command center, alarms filled the air. The young officers looked at the approaching fleet. Admiral, they are committing everything. Elias Voss watched the enemy ships moving across the holographic display. For a moment, he said nothing. Then he smiled. They finally made the mistake we were waiting for. The officer looked confused. What mistake? The admiral looked toward Earth. They came here believing this was a battle. A pause. It was never a battle. The lights inside the command center changed. A new system activated. Something even Earth's own soldiers had never seen. The archive opened. And humanity revealed the final secret. For 1,000 years, Earth had been collecting something. Not weapons. Not resources. Lessons. Every conflict. Every alien encounter. Every military strategy. Every failed civilization. Humanity had studied them all. And from every lost world, they learned one thing. The strongest force in the universe was not technology. It was knowledge. The human fleet moved. But not toward the enemy. Away. The Varkun commanders laughed. They are retreating. Kale Varys almost felt relief. Then his sensors detected something impossible. The human ships were not escaping. They were positioning. Every vessel. Every station. Every hidden platform. All moving into perfect formation. A formation no alien military had ever seen. Because it was not designed to attack. It was designed to protect. The Varkun opened fire. The universe turned into fire. Thousands of explosions covered the darkness. But the human fleet held. One ship protected another. One colony shield protected another. Every damaged system was replaced by another. Humanity was not fighting as an army. They were fighting as a species. The Varkun finally understood. They had spent centuries perfecting the art of destroying enemies. Humans had spent their entire existence learning how to keep each other alive. Then the impossible happened. A Varkun battleship was surrounded by human ships. The alien commander waited for destruction. Instead, he received a transmission. Admiral Voss appeared on his screen. Your people do not have to die here. The alien commander stared. You attacked us. The admiral nodded. Yes. You destroyed our worlds. Yes. You defeated our allies. Yes. The alien commander became angry. Then why show mercy? Elias looked at him. Because that is the difference between us. The Varkun commander froze. The human fleet could have destroyed them. But they didn't. The galaxy watched. And for the first time, they saw the thing that made humanity truly dangerous. Not their weapons. Not their ships. Not their technology. Their restraint. The Varkun had expected monsters. They found something worse. A species powerful enough to destroy them. But wise enough not to. Then Earth's final transmission spread across the galaxy. We did not survive because we were stronger than every enemy. A pause. We survived because we remembered every person who depended on us. The message ended. And every civilization understood. Humanity was not rising because it wanted control of the galaxy. Humanity was rising because it refused to let the galaxy repeat the same mistake again. But then, a new signal appeared. One that did not come from Earth. One that did not come from the Varkun. A signal from the edge of known space. And the message contained only 3 words. They are coming. The galaxy had been watching Earth's war. Now it was watching something much worse. A message had appeared from the edge of known space. 3 words. They are coming. No name. No explanation. No warning of who was coming. Just those 3 words. And somehow, every ancient civilization understood. Because the oldest records in the galaxy contained the same symbol. A symbol that had been erased from history. A symbol that even the Varkun feared. Inside the Eternal Judgment, Supreme Commander Kale Varys stared at the signal. His face changed. For the first time since the invasion began, he looked truly terrified. The humans noticed. Admiral Elias Voss opened a communication channel. Commander. Kale ignored him. Where did you get this signal? Elias looked at the transmission. You tell me. A long silence followed. Then the Varkun commander answered quietly. The first ones. The human officers looked at each other. The first ones? Kale nodded. The civilization that existed before the empires. Before the alliances. Before the galaxy had names. His eyes remained locked on the message. They were not conquerors. A pause. They were hunters. The galaxy had believed the Varkun were the greatest threat in existence. They were wrong. The Varkun were only predators that everyone could see. Something else had been waiting beyond the edge of space. Something older. Something patient. And now humanity had accidentally awakened the attention of the universe's oldest enemy. Across the galaxy, abandoned observation stations activated for the first time in thousands of years. Ancient alarms began ringing. Civilizations that had hidden for generations came out of hiding. Because everyone knew what was coming. The humans did not. Not yet. But they learned quickly. The archive opened fully. A final record appeared. A message left by a civilization that had vanished millions of years ago. A warning. If you have found this message, then the darkness has returned. The recording showed galaxies. Millions of stars. Then silence. Entire civilizations disappearing. Not conquered. Not defeated. Simply erased. The officer watching the recording whispered. How did anyone survive? Elias stared at the ancient message. They didn't. The room went silent. Then how did this message exist? The admiral looked toward the stars. Because someone always survives long enough to warn the next. For the first time, humanity realized the Varkan invasion was not the beginning of a war. It was a distraction. The real threat had been waiting. And now it knew Earth existed. Hours later, the darkness appeared. Not through hyperspace. Not through a fleet. Through the stars themselves. Entire sections of space went black. One system after another. The galaxy watched as something impossible moved closer. A fleet. No. Something far larger. A structure that made planets look small. The approaching object was older than civilizations. Older than recorded history. The aliens watching from distant worlds had only one name for it. The Devourers. Inside Earth's command center, alarms screamed. The young officer looked at Elias. Admiral. His voice trembled. The Varkan attacked us because they thought we were weak. He looked at the approaching darkness. But what happens when this thing arrives? Everyone waited for the answer. Elias looked at the human fleet. The same fleet that had survived an empire. The same fleet that refused surrender. Then he spoke. Then the galaxy finally learns why humanity was never afraid of the dark. The human ships turned toward the unknown. Not away. Toward it. The Varkan watched in disbelief. The species they came to conquer was preparing to fight something that terrified the entire galaxy. And in that moment, every alien civilization understood the truth. Humanity was not the strongest species because it had the biggest weapons. It was the strongest. Because when the universe showed humanity its worst nightmare, humans moved closer. The galaxy had spent thousands of years running from the darkness. Now the darkness had arrived. The Devourers moved through space like a living shadow. They did not send messages. They did not make demands. They did not negotiate. They simply consumed. World after world vanished from the maps. Ancient civilizations disappeared without a final battle. No explosions. No last stands. Just silence. And now their attention turned toward Earth. The same Earth that had survived an invasion hours before. The same humanity that every empire had underestimated. Inside the human command center, every screen showed the approaching threat. The numbers were impossible. The Devourer structure was larger than entire fleets. Its energy output was beyond anything humanity had ever measured. Even the Varkan, who once believed themselves unstoppable, had no answer. For the first time, the former enemy stood beside humanity. Not as conquerors. Not as allies. But as survivors. Supreme Commander Kale Varis entered the human command network. A room full of humans stared at him. The same alien who had ordered Earth's destruction. The same commander who believed humanity was weak. Now he stood before them asking for help. I understand now, Kale said quietly. Elias Voss looked at him. What? The Varkan commander looked toward the approaching darkness. Why your species survived. A pause. You never fought because you believed you would win. He looked back at the humans. You fought because someone had to. The final battle began. Every civilization in the galaxy sent what remained of their fleets. Varkan warships. Alien exploration vessels. Ancient defense platforms. All of them gathered around Earth. But everyone knew the truth. Their combined power was still not enough. Then humanity did something nobody expected. They stopped focusing on destruction. They focused on connection. The archive activated. Every piece of knowledge humanity had collected was shared with the galaxy. Every strategy. Every discovery. Every lesson learned from every civilization that came before. Humanity gave away its greatest advantage. The galaxy was stunned. Why would humans reveal everything? Why would they give others the tools to become stronger? Because that was humanity's greatest difference. Humans did not believe survival belonged to the strongest. They believed survival belonged to everyone. The combined fleet moved as one. Not under human control. Not under alien command. Together. For the first time in history, the galaxy fought as a single civilization. The Devourers attacked. Stars burned. Ships disappeared. Entire fleets were pushed to the edge. But humanity held the line. Not because humans were impossible to defeat. Because they made sure they never stood alone. Hours later, the darkness finally broke. The impossible enemy that had erased galaxies began to retreat. The galaxy watched as the Devourers sent one final signal. A message translated into every language. Why? One word. One question. Why had this young species resisted when older civilizations had fallen? Admiral Elias Voss answered. The entire galaxy heard his response. Because you never understood us. Silence. We are not special because we cannot be destroyed. The human fleet moved forward. We are special because every time something tries. A pause. We become something stronger. The signal ended. Years later, historians would call it the moment the galaxy changed forever. The day the Varkan Dominion fell. The day the Devourers retreated. The day humanity became more than another species among the stars. They became a reminder. A warning. A promise. The universe had spent ages believing power came from being feared. Humanity proved something different. True strength was not the ability to destroy everything. True strength was the ability to protect something. And that was the lesson written into the stars forever. They attacked Earth first. But they were never prepared for what Earth would become.